Well, welcome back to another Holy Week devotional as we consider some of the events of Tuesday of that week of the life of Christ. So we've seen him ride into Jerusalem in a triumphal entry on a humble donkey on Sunday. We've seen him cleanse the temple, and now he returns to the temple and does a lot of teaching. In fact, this is really kind of the last large discourse of public teaching from Christ before he retreats back to where he is staying, and then the events of Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and the rest of the week take place. So as he enters the temple on this day, he challenges the authority of the religious leaders of the day and then begins to teach, as he has throughout his entire ministry, with an authority in which the people have never heard before. And of course, we know that Jesus indeed does have an authority that no other rabbi or any other teacher had ever had before, because he doesn't just come with the backing of the right schooling or the right degree in our modern vernacular. He comes with a very divine nature. He is fully God and he is fully man, so he has the very authority of God himself, because he is the Word made flesh. He is God. So of course he teaches with an authority that is unrecognizable. He teaches with an authority that is unlike anything that has ever come before, because nothing like him has ever come before. But in teaching and in acting with this type of authority, he certainly stirs up those who are in authority in those moments. So he does a lot of teaching, and he says a lot of different things, and then he even continues to teach after they leave the temple, and the disciples begin to ask him a few questions, and he gives what we know as the Olivet Discourse as they are overlooking the city of Jerusalem. And so we don't have time to cover all of those things that Jesus teaches. He speaks in parables while he's in the temple. He gives some warnings. He gives some predictions. But I do want to just focus on just a small portion of that. And it's really the very beginning as we just consider that main idea of the authority of Christ. And this is just a continuation of where we've been the last couple of days. Luke chapter 20 now. We finished chapter 19 yesterday with the cleansing of the temple. And now we pick up in verse 1 of chapter 20, which reads, "One day, as he was teaching the people in the temple and proclaiming the good news, the chief priests and the scribes with the elders came and said, 'Tell us, by what authority are you doing these things? Who is it who gave you this authority?' And he answered them, 'I will also ask you a question. Tell me, was the baptism of John from heaven or of human origin?' And they discussed it among themselves. 'If we say from heaven, he will say, why didn't you believe him? But if we say of human origin, all of the people will stone us, because they are convinced that John was a prophet.' So they answered that they did not know its origin. And Jesus said to them, 'Neither will I tell you by what authority I do these things.'" They want to question the authority of Jesus. They want to try and trap Jesus with some of their questions, and this is just one of the first questions on that day in which they will seek to trap Christ. But we find that they are continually unable to do so. But when we think about the authority of Christ in our own lives, though we may not openly question it in the way that the chief priest and the scribes and the Pharisees are questioning it there in the Gospel of Luke, we often live in such a way in which we question the authority of Christ. The Bible tells us, and as I say almost each and every Sunday, that we are to confess with our mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in our heart that God has raised him from the dead. That is step one of salvation. And we may be too familiar with that phrase, that Jesus is Lord. But when we confess Jesus as Lord of our lives, we are confessing his authority in all things. We're confessing that he has authority over our lives. And we're confessing that it is now our heart's desire, because of what the Holy Spirit has done in our heart through salvation, that we want to live as if Christ is our authority. And so we have an opportunity on a day like today to examine ourselves, to look in the mirror and to ask our own hearts, who's the authority? Am I seeking to live in my own rule and reign, or am I seeking to live under the rule and reign of Christ? His authority in my life and the authority of His Word that He has given to us through this book. And so, whose authority are you living under? Is it your own? Is it someone else's? Or is it Christ? Don't live in such a way that you question His authority, but seek to submit your life to Him.